Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Alright, I just got done watching episode 1 of season 2, or season 2, episode 1 of the Avatar The Last Airbender live action reboot. And it's okay. It's good. It's still okay. It's much better than the M. Night Shyamalan movie. But I am finding it hard to believe that there is not two avatars existing in the same living in the same timeline. Like I grew up kind of watching it, but also kind of not watching it at the same time. When the animated series was happening, and there's a massive plot hole that everybody leaves out and does not mention. When you have a super powered thing, right, that can do more than just bending one element, because theoretically Aang and the other avatars are technically considered Omega level. They are considered Omega. I think they are. I think they would be considered an Omega level bender, mutant, meta, whatever. When you have an Omega level powered person, spiritual person, right? Let's say Aang is a Omega leveled bender, okay? He's an Omega level bender. Spiritual, but Omega level powered, or powered level. When you have a Omega level powered being, right? Kind of like the Phoenix Force, right? Because that's pretty much what the Avatar state is. It's kind of like the Phoenix Force, right? When you have that level of power in you, right? And there's a freaking comet. That comet that passed, when you bulge yourself up, should have at least created another avatar. Meaning, like, the avatar state should have split into two. And existed as two throughout that time. Now, also, here we are, 100 years later, or 100 and some time later, and the comet is coming back, right? In the canon of the show or whatever. That comet should that comet should at least create a Nexus being, a Nexus avatar. That one should not exist, but also two does exist. So not only should there be two avatars, but three avatars at the same exact time, Aang being one of them. And not only that, but it should be an earthbender and a waterbender having the ability of the avatar state. Because that is more logical. Because the avatar state is clearly like the Phoenix Force. In a way, it's like the Phoenix Force. So, with that being said, that's what the Avatar is missing. From the original continuity, from the original series run, all the way up to the live action. And Korra should also at least have 3 or 4 avatars being avatars, or benders being avatars. Because it just doesn't make sense to me, logically, as a comic book fan and a nerd and a fan of movies and TV shows and pop culture and media, that there should not be only one avatar per person. There should have been at least 2 or 3 existing on the same timeline and whatnot. Also, Avatar Aang, although he is the main avatar, there should be other avatars at the same time after he balled himself in the water. So it's just annoying that, like, the Avatar balled himself up, banished, quote unquote, banished 100 years ago in conjunction to the show's canon, but yet there's only one avatar. And when the avatar banished, disappeared without a trace, he kept his avatar intact. He kept his avatar state intact. Like, that should not work. The logic should not work. Because in theory, right? The avatar state should have split. When Aang disappeared and balled himself in the middle of the fucking ocean, should have freaking split. And that is my biggest problem with Avatar. Like the concept, right, of being a Omega leveled being, right? And having the power of a spiritual entity and being able to keep that spiritual entity intact should not happen. It should have split into two when Aang disappeared when the Fire Nation attacked the Airbenders. Like, that is one issue I have, and the main issue I have with Avatar: The Last Airbender. Call me crazy, but I think I'm right. Just saying. Like, the logic does not make sense. And that is my biggest problem I have with Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's like the notion that the Avatar can be this spiritual thing, right? Have this spiritual entity inside them, but yet control and master elements of the earth at the same time should not happen, especially with Aang. Like, I get it. Every bender, right? Every avatar, every elemental bender that has had the avatar state, right? Or has had the avatar inside them, right? Is different. But with Aang, in Aang's case, it should be vastly different than all the previous avatars, because there should be more than just one elemental bender. When we first get introduced to the avatar, and two, when we meet Aang for the first time in both the original and the reboot and the movie. There should at least have been two, especially the comet. The comet should at least have made a Nexus avatar. There should have been an avatar Nexus being. And that is my biggest gripe I have with Avatar. It's still a good show. The live action reboot is still good. I like how in season 2 they fill us in on what has happened the last time we saw the events of season 1 unfold. Like, they do a pretty good job filling the gap in, right? But also, there should at least have been another freaking Avatar. Just saying. And with that being said, with the comet approaching Earth's atmosphere in the show's canon and continuity, there should have been another avatar that is a Nexus being, because Aang being the avatar and there being another avatar that split from Aang should have caused a Nexus avatar. Just saying. But hey, I digress. Anywho, that's all I have for you guys so far for right now. Please like, share, subscribe. Have a good day. Thanks. Catch you guys on the flip side. I'm gonna put loose onto the next video.